Hi everyone, welcome to Moments with Inonge, a platform that is dedicated to personal awareness and development. You are watching the motivational segment, a segment that not only gets you started, but keeps you on track. Very warm welcome. We've got a very interesting topic for discussion, and our topic for discussion is eatable or non-eatable love. Eatable or non-eatable love. We're still feeling the Valentine's drive from yesterday. So we're still talking love. So is it eatable or non-eatable love? That's our topic for discussion today. And to begin our topic for discussion, we have an opening question, and that opening question is something bitter or sweet. What do you prefer? Something bitter or sweet? What do you prefer? So please drop your comments and let me know where you're watching from, and just give me a response on what you really like. Do you like whatever it is, like your test bags? Are they more favorable to sweet things or bitter things? Are you one of the people that the core, has a sweet tooth? So what do you like? Or maybe you're one of those people who likes salty things, yeah, somebody that can say, in Nkonda va salt, it was salt. So please drop your comments and let me know where you're watching from. So welcome once more to our motivational segment. If you're watching us for the very first time or you do not have the schedule for Moments with Inonge, allow me to run you through the schedule. We have the inspirational segment every Sunday, 1 p.m. Central African time. And then we have the motivational segment, which is this one that you're watching, every Monday at 19:45, that's 7:45 p.m. Central African time. And we have the leadership segment that comes every Tuesday at 19:45, 7:45 p.m. Central African time. So what we basically do is that in the inspirational segment, we draw inspiration from the Word of God, thereby laying a foundation for what we're going to discuss throughout the week. So what we do in the inspirational segment is lay a foundation, and what we do in the motivational segment is to begin to put blocks on top of that foundation. That's building. And then in the leadership segment, we put a roof in. It's like putting, the icing on top of the cake. So you are very welcome. Please ensure, if you haven't already, because I can see most of the people that are watching have actually done the free 30 minutes coaching session. So if you haven't done, please feel free to book the 30 minutes coaching session just by inboxing me. You can actually inbox me to say, okay, Nonge, what time is favorable? And you can also let me know what time is favorable for you, and we can do that free 30 minutes coaching. And then for those that want to go a step further, you can actually book for the one-on-one coaching, Put Your Dream to the Test by John C. Maxwell. This is actually designed by John C. Maxwell to actually make you see your dream so clearly. It's designed to make you find out whether you're just living a fantasy or it's actually a God-given dream. So please, if you haven't already, book for either the free session, which is just 30 minutes, or the one-on-one coaching session, which is like 10 sessions, maximum 1 per hour. Guys, drop a comment. Let me know where you're watching from. And please answer that question on the screen. Something bitter or sweet? What do you prefer? We've got a very interesting topic: eatable or non-eatable love. So please drop your comments and let me know where you're watching from, as well as answering the question on the screen. Well. We have Pastor Sam watching all the way from Livingston. Thank you so much, Pastor Sam, for watching. I am so humbled that you take time off your busy schedule just to be part and parcel of tonight's motivational segment. And we have a comment from Mwangala, and Mwangala says, watching you my love. Thank you so much, Mwangala. Thank you so much. Mwangala is actually my elder sister, the firstborn, the first fruit of my father, and she's watching all the way from Mongo. Thank you so much, Big Sis, for being part and parcel of tonight's segment. And Mwangala goes on to drop a comment, and she says, something sweet, laugh out loud. So Mwangala has a sweet tooth there, so she prefers something really, really sweet. And we have another comment from Maxwell, and Maxwell says, watching from Lusaka. Thank you so much for being part and parcel of tonight's motivational segment. I hope and trust that you're going to enjoy it and participate all throughout the segment. So at least we got an answer from Mwangala. For those that are watching, please drop your comments. Let me know what you like. Something sweet, something bitter. This is just to, open the flow of interaction, because Moments with Inonge is not just one-sided show where Inonge does all the talking. No, we flow. I hear from you, you hear from me. As I talk, I learn. As you comment, I also learn. So drop those comments. Let me know where you're watching from. And we have a comment from Pam, and Pam says she's watching from home. Well, Pam, thank you so much. Thank you so much, beautiful, for tuning into our tonight's motivational segment. I hope and trust that you will be motivated. So thank you so much, guys. I believe at this point in time, we just go right into the segment and begin. Please, guys, ensure that you like and share. Tag somebody to be part and parcel of the motivational segment. You don't want to be enlightened alone. Share the love, guys. Share the love. Let somebody know about the show. Tag somebody. Create a watch party. If you're watching via Facebook, create a watch party. If you're watching via YouTube, you can, as well as like and share the broadcast. You can even share it via WhatsApp. So please, guys, drop your comments, like and share, tag somebody so that they can also be part and parcel of the motivational segment. So right now, we're going to go right into the segment. And please, guys, keep those comments coming. If you feel like something has, connected with you, keep those comments coming, and I'll be able to read those comments and go through those comments before we call the segment closed. Before we just wrap up the segment, I'll be able to go through the comments. So we're looking at something interesting: edible or non-edible love. Like I said, we're still in that Valentine mood, the lovey mood. So we're gonna go right into this, and just grant me a second just to get this ready. Okay, there we go. Just a second. Okay, so like I mentioned earlier, our topic for discussion is actually edible or non-edible love. That's what we're really, really looking at in our motivational segment. And to open this motivational segment, we have a quote by Joseph Campbell, and the quote reads, "Life has no meaning. Each of us has meaning, and we bring it to life. It is a waste to be asking the question when you are the answer. Life has no meaning. Each of us has meaning, and we bring it to life. It is a waste to be asking the question when you are the answer." That's really food for thought, because, many times we hear people talking about, life. It's like life has got no meaning. So I really like what Joseph actually thought of and came up with this quote to say, you know what? You are the one that has got meaning, and you're the person that actually brings, meaning to life. So quit asking the question, does life have a meaning? Because you are the answer to that question. It's very, very easy to go through life merely just living, merely just existing, rather, merely just existing than living. It's so easy to just be, just live, just living, just existing rather, sorry, just existing and not really living. So, somebody may be saying, okay, Nonge, yeah, you're talking about existing and living, existing and living. What's the difference between existing and living? Well, existing is, when you're just on earth and you have not discovered your purpose, and because you have not discovered your purpose, you're basically not adding any value to anyone. All you're just doing is just, existing with no meaning. It's like you're not bringing out your meaning, because remember, we are all created for a purpose. And then when you are living, it is that point which you actually discover your purpose and you begin to add value to others. So it's very important that we not only exist, but we begin to live. You see, because when you're just merely existing, it's kind of like not fun, because everything that you're doing, it's kind of like not interesting. But when you're living, you find that what you're doing you enjoy. When you're living, you find that what you're doing, you are content about it. You're content about it. Those are the people that we say, you know what, she really lived her life. She really lived her life to the fullest, meaning the person discovered what their purpose is, and they actually took advantage of the opportunities that surrounded them and actually began to live their purpose. So I would love to share a personal story with you, and in line with existing and actually living. You see, as I was growing up, I never really had a plan. I would just go through the day trying to survive, or just, pushing files, pushing days, just having that attitude to say, yeah, whatever the day brings, it brings. And you just go through the day just like that, any without any meaning, without adding value, without feeling the contentment. And there came a time when I was so hungry to add value. Like, I felt this hunger within me to say, you know what, there is something that my life can actually, bring out. There is something that I can actually do with my life. And you see, at that point, this is where I actually discovered my purpose. And you see, with discovery of purpose is personal awareness, which on Moments with Inonge we get to advocate for so much, because it is at the point in my life where I began to understand what my purpose was, that I really began to live instead of just merely existing. And you find that when you don't have a purpose, when you're not really living, like life according to your purpose, you find that lots of things that you engage in, they begin to frustrate you. You're not even passionate about the things that you do, but you've got to do them, because at the end of the day, you have to survive. At the end of the day, you just have to, put food on the table for your loved ones, or even just yourself. So I went through life, and really, I was doing well, but at the same time, I was not so content, because what I was doing was not really adding value to others. So as I understood what my purpose was, or is rather, that's when I decided to, start building up. I'm not there yet, but at least I can say I am getting started. And this is when we talk about personal development. So personal awareness and personal development are very important. But at the same time, you're going to realize that at the point when I did not actually live life with meaning, it was not because I I chose not to, but it's because I didn't know. I didn't know what my purpose was. So many times, we just exist on earth because we actually don't know what our purpose is. And it's actually our duty to engage in personal awareness, to get to know ourselves better, to know our weaknesses, to know our strengths, and to just discover, why God actually put us on earth. And the other reason is, sometimes somebody may know that they're gifted in a certain area, they're talented in a certain area, but the thing is, they don't know how to go about it. They don't know how to go about it. So at some point, you find that somebody knows that they can actually sing, somebody knows that they can speak, somebody knows that, they can do hair, somebody knows that they are good in math, but they just don't know how to go about it. So many times in life, and I'm speaking from experience, we merely exist because either we have not discovered our purpose, or when you discover your purpose, you actually find that you don't know how to go about it. So that's where personal awareness and development actually comes in. So yesterday in our inspirational segment, we're actually looking at fruitful love. We're looking at fruitful love, and we got to see that, in order for you to have meaning that goes on and overflows to others, you've got to love yourself. Because, from the Bible, we got to read, a scripture that says, um, love yourself as you love others. So meaning it's impossible for you to literally love others if you don't love yourself. So we looked at that. For those that didn't have time to watch the inspirational segment, please, I aid you to really like go in and have a look at it and listen through, and just try and pick one or two things. Because what we're doing in today's motivational segment is we're just building on top of fruitful love. But the major points that a lot of people commented and said they actually gathered was that, when we talk about fruitful love, it means that love that actually bears fruit. And another key point was that it's love that actually sets a high standard for those that are looking up to us, for those that we are actually influencing. So to build up on the inspirational segment, in tonight's motivational segment, we're going to be looking at eatable or non-eatable love. Eatable or non-eatable love. Like trees. Forgive me for, comparing man to trees, but I think that's the best comparison that I could come up with, just to help us get an understanding of today's topic. Like trees, we can be fruitful. And we ought to be fruitful. We ought to be fruitful. We ought to multiply, like trees. But in as much as I am comparing, us human beings to trees, you've got to realize that as human beings, we so happen to be more superior to trees. Because, when it comes to trees, they've only got one choice. They've only got one choice, which is to actually bear fruit of which they are. Like, for instance, a mango tree has got no choice but to bear fruit that is mango. So really, trees are limited in their choices. But us as human beings, we really do have the power of choice. This is why our theme in this month of February is actually we take charge of our lives. And one way that we can take charge of our lives is through choices. I mean, we've been given the power of choice, and that we can see in our anchor scripture, which is Deuteronomy 30 and verse 19, all throughout this month of February. So at least us human beings have been given the privilege by our Creator in order to, choose the fruit that we can actually bear. So when you look from the inspirational segment that we had, and we looked at fruitful love, we really got to talk and discuss on how, in order for you to impact somebody's life, in order for you to add value to somebody's life, you've got to add value to yourself. Because the truth of the matter is, if you're really just existing, you cannot bear fruit. you cannot bear fruit. You can just go through life, just living life, not impacting people. But at the end of the day, we've got a choice. We've got a choice whether, to bear fruit or not to bear fruit. And when we actually look at the choices that we have when it comes to bearing fruit, we've got a choice, being a person, we've got a choice whether we can actually bear fruit that's eatable or non-eatable. What I mean is fruit that's eatable or non-eatable. Guys, the truth of the matter is it's not enough just to have fruitful love, just to bear fruit, because you realize that some trees, in as much as they are bearing fruit, some of the fruits that they bear are not eatable. You can't eat some of the fruits. They're poisonous, they're toxic. You can't deal with them. Once you eat them, you die. So, in as much as we're talking about fruitful love, the question is, what kind of love are you actually bearing? What kind of fruit are you actually bearing? Is your fruit actually, fruitful, or is it, is it eatable, or is it not eatable? So that's a question that we really need to ask ourselves, to say, okay, look, we're talking about, loving yourself. In loving yourself, you are actually discovering what your strengths are. And as you discover what your strength is, you actually up your skill. You actually up your game in line with your skills, because you realize that in as much as you are loving yourself, you want to improve yourself. The whole essence of loving yourself is improving yourself. And as you improve yourself, believe you me, you begin to attract success. The more good you become at something, the more people actually seek for your services, for the products that you're actually offering. So as you're loving yourself, you are actually developing yourself. As you're developing yourself, you are actually bearing fruit. But the question is, what kind of fruit are you bearing? Are you bearing fruit that people can actually eat from and be able to still continue to live? Or are you bearing fruit that is actually poisonous, such that when people hang around you, they can't remain positive? You see, in as much as I asked a question when we started, to say, what do you like? Do you like it? Do you like your food bitter? Do you like your food taste like sweet? What kind of taste buds do you really entertain? Because you can have something that's bitter and still nourishing, your body, and you can have something sweet and does not nourish. So the fruit that you're bearing, because we're not trees, I mean, we've got a choice. You can choose to actually bear fruit that's sweet, that's sweet, that sweetens somebody's life, that nourishes their life. Or you can actually choose to bear fruit that's bitter, such that every time people come around you, even when they were like high spirited, they were motivated, they were happy, but the moment they leave your presence, they go like, you know what, I really don't understand. I started my day so well, but it ended so bad. And then when they take a reflection of how their day went, they actually realize, you know what, I think my day has ended like with me feeling so bad because I hung around with such a person. That person is just a killjoy. That person is just a bitter vibe. Like, that person adds no value. So as you are bearing fruit, because you're not a tree, but you're a human, you've got a choice. What kind of fruit are you bearing? Are you bearing fruit that is going to nourish others? Or are you bearing fruit that is going to kill others? Are you bearing fruit that is going to be toxic to, to others? What kind of fruit really? Because we're looking at, fruitful love, loving yourself as you love others. It all begins with you. How are you treating yourself? Are you being nice to yourself, or are you being mean to yourself? Are you being positive minded, or are you being negative minded? Because you see, what you are within yourself is what you give out. You cannot give what you don't have. So if you have positivity within you, believe you me, if the next person comes to you and they are negative because of their situation, because of the positive vibe that is actually within you, you'll be able to say, you know what, cheer up, things are going to get better. But if you're a person that is bitter, that possesses bitterness within you, that possesses negativity within you, you have to realize that this is the kind of fruit that you're bearing, such that if somebody comes with a situation to you and the situation is negative, they'll end up going back and feeling more negative. They'll end up feeling more drained because they come up with a situation. Boy, listen up, I've got this situation and my dear, it's bad. And then, because you're this negative person, instead of bringing out some positivity, because you are negative, you can't bring out that positivity. So what you're going to bring out is what you contain, which is the negativity. You're going to go like, I want, the situation is bad. And you know what? If this and this were to happen, it would become worse. Oh my God. It would just become so much worse for you. So you've got to realize that you cannot give what you don't have. You cannot give what you don't have. I remember in the inspirational segment from yesterday, we actually played back a clip, from one of the Sunday school songs that we used to sing about Peter and John. Silver and gold I have none, but such as I have, I give unto you. So you got to realize that whoever you are and whatever you are becoming, whatever choices you have made, whatever you are tolerating is what you're going to give out. If you choose to be a positive person, because positivity is a choice. Positivity is a choice. And even in this month, when we're actually taking charge of our lives through the choices that we make, you can either choose to be positive or negative. Positivity or negativity is actually a choice. So whichever choice that you take is actually what you are going to become. So guys, at the end of it all, when you're looking, even as we're talking about, self-love, in as much as you're loving yourself, you've got to be aware of what kind of love you're giving yourself, because sometimes you can think you're loving yourself and yet you are hating yourself. Sometimes you can think by staying within your comfort zone, it's loving yourself, and actually stretching out is hating yourself, and yet you're actually doing the opposite. And yet loving yourself is growing yourself. And if you're going to grow, you're definitely going to get out of your comfort zone. It's going to hurt a little, but it's going to do you good. It's actually going to do you more good than harm. So you've got to ask yourself to say, okay, what kind of fruit am I bearing? Is my fruit edible or is it non-edible? What kind of fruit am I bearing among the people that are around me? Is the kind of fruit that I'm bearing impacting lives, or is the kind of life that I'm bearing actually, diminishing life? Is it giving birth to life or is it diminishing life? Like the people that I attract, what kind of people am I attracting and what value am I adding to them? At the end of the day, when you reach a certain point in your life, you can't just continue to live. To exist. You've got to live. You just can't continue to go through the day without adding value to somebody, without making life meaningful. Because you know what? At the end of the day, you'll be questioned to say, okay, what did you do with your life? What did you do with your gifts? What did you do with your potential? What did you do? Did you actually carry out your assignment on earth? So the biggest question is, fruitful love, yes you are. Obeying the commandments because you're a Christian, yes you are. Which is love yourself as you love others. So what kind of love are you giving out? Is your love edible or non-edible? There's a quote that I actually find so intriguing, and that quote is, I never met a bitter person who was thankful, or a thankful person who was bitter. So you can either become bitter or sweet. You've got to make up a choice. You've got to choose, because you are not a tree. You can actually choose what kind of fruit you want to give out. You can actually choose what kind of fruit you want to bear. You can actually choose the flavor of your fruit. Like, is the flavor of your fruit a thankful flavor, or is it a bitter person? Because you're going to realize that whenever somebody is bitter and you go around them, they are always complaining. But when you go around a thankful person, what actually happens is this person is always positive. They're always seeing positivity even in the little things, while a better person just looks at the negative things. So as we go ahead, throughout this week, even as we were celebrating Valentine's, which was showing love to our loved ones, the question that we really need to ask ourselves, because Moments with Inonge is all about personal awareness and development. The question we need to ask ourselves is, okay, if I have fruitful love, what kind of fruit am I bearing? Is it edible or non-edible? Is it toxic or non-toxic? Is it bitter or is it thankful? Is it bitter or is it sweet? Like, really, what kind? And like I mentioned as we were beginning to say, the choices that we make, they actually impact the lives of those that are looking up to us. If you're a parent, the choices that you make actually impact the lives of your children. Or if you're a child, even the choices that you make actually impact the lives of your guardians, or even your parents. Because somebody may say, okay, I don't have parents. We can say maybe your guardians, or your siblings, or people that look up to you. One thing that we took from the inspirational segment is that, as you love yourself, you are actually setting a standard for others. And what I mean is that we saw from the inspirational segment that Jesus actually said that those that believe in him would actually do the works he was doing and much more. So you see that because of the love that he has for us, for us that believe in him, he has set a standard for us to do what he actually did. That's the lowest standard. Jesus does not expect us to go below his standards. He expects us to do minimum what he has done. He says, those that believe in me will do the works that I have done, and much more than I have done. So you've got to realize that whatever fruit that you're actually bearing, it actually has an impact on those that are coming after you, or even those that have gone before you. Because if you are a parent and you've got children, you've got to realize that the fruit that you're bearing is going to set a standard in the lives of your children. Most of us are working today because our motivation for working is actually so that we can have those things that we never had when we were growing up, or so that our children can live a more comfortable life than we were actually living as we were growing up. A lot of people like to say, and I'll speak this in Nyanja, I'll translate it in English. A lot of people like to say, pakukula navutika maningi, so apa nifunika nasebenza maningi so that vana vanga vankalapa bwino. I mean, we hear a lot of people say that. When I was growing up, I had a tough time growing up. But, since I'm now grown, I'm going to work hard so that my children don't have to go through exactly what I went through. So you've got to see that in loving yourself, being aware of your gifts, your talent, personal awareness, and, developing yourself, you've got to be alert to the fact that it's not just about you, it's also about others, because it's about loving yourself as you love others. So as you gain value, you gotta realize that you're also adding value to others that are actually looking up to you. So you've got to see, and you've got to tick, and even from tonight, you've got to ask yourself to say, the way I'm living, is it the life that I was opportuned to live? Am I doing much better, or am I doing worse? So you've got to realize and ask yourself a question. Am I bad? Am I poor? Am I good? Or am I excellent? Because whatever the standard of the life that you were given by your parents is, you've got to go higher. If there is anything that you can give to your children, which is minimum, is the life that your parents gave you, but you've been challenged through this motivational segment. As you hear this word, you are being challenged to live higher than you actually lived. Because I, for one, if I take a look at how hard my dad worked before he passed on, he really tried. In offering a good life, he really tried. So it would do so much injustice for me not to try, even at least minimal, as hard as my dad tried, in providing for my children. Because even when I do that, even my children, as they live their lives, they're also going to say, you know what, mom tried. She really tried to provide, this good life for us. So even us, we're going to maintain that standard. Really, life is about choices. So at least the least that you would have done is you would have set a minimal standard of living for your children to emulate. The choice is up to them whether they're going to rise to the standards or, just live below average or, go beyond the standards that you set. The choice is up to them. But the best that you can do is actually, raise your standards by being personal aware of your purpose in life and actually developing yourself to become that person, to become that best version whom you were actually created. So even as we wrap up this segment, the question is your love fruitful? And if it is fruitful, is your fruit eatable or non-eatable? Remember the scripture, because we love to be so religious. Remember the scripture that says in Mark 12:31, you shall love your neighbor as you love yourself, meaning you shall love others as you love yourself. So in pursuit of loving yourself, is the fruit that you're bearing from loving yourself eatable or non-eatable? Well, I guess that brings us to the end of the segment. Please do share with me what you actually found interesting in tonight's motivational segment. What really did relate to you? Like, what do you think actually related to you? So we have a comment from Precious, and Precious says she's watching. Thank you so much, Precious. Thank you for being part and parcel of tonight's motivational segment. I hope and trust that you have enjoyed. And even as you are, still in that mood of Valentine's, because I know you're my baby, you're that love person, you gotta ask yourself to say, this love that I have, either for my son, either for my spouse or the people around me, like, what am I doing with it? Is my love eatable or is it non-eatable? So as we just wait for somebody to drop in one or two comments in relation to what they actually, got out of tonight's segment, allow me to run through the schedule for Moments with Inonge, even as, people just go ahead and type. Every Sunday, we have the inspirational segment at 1 p.m. Central African time. And Monday, we have the motivational segment, which is this segment that you're currently watching. That's 7:45 p.m. And on Tuesdays, we have the leadership segment at 7:45 p.m. So guys, please stay tuned for the leadership segment, which comes through tomorrow. And what we're actually going to be doing is we're going to be, putting a roofing on top of what we have just built on the foundation of the inspirational segment. And we're going to be drawing our lessons from a very influential person, a person that has been in leadership for a very long time. And this is John C. Maxwell, who happens to be my mentor. So that is where we're going to be drawing our lessons in the leadership segment. So guys, do let me know what you actually got from this motivational segment. Do let me know what you got from this motivational segment. Thank you so much for being part and parcel of the motivational segment. And just a quick roundup about the products or services that we're offering as Moments with Inonge. We're offering one-on-one coaching, and we're offering group coachings, and we actually have a free 30 minutes coaching session. You can actually book it, and this will actually give you a feel of what professional coaching actually is all about and the benefits of professional coaching, because coaching actually focuses on you. So what it does is it brings you to a level of personal awareness, and actually helps you come up with strategies that will help you to build on that which you have discovered about yourself. And I do also offer services of keynote speaking, that's speaking at conferences, at workshops, at seminars. So if you want speakers to speak at your event, you might as well as get in touch with me, and I can speak at either your conference, your seminar or workshop as a keynote speaker. I do that as well. And we also have some leadership tables where we, get to share on a more deeper note, because the time on the segment is actually restricted. I love to keep it like 45 minutes maximum. And because of that, we actually can't share. You guys can't drop your comments because I'm fast, maybe in speaking, time is passing. So, but when we have those one-on-one interactions on the leadership table, you find that we can actually share views and get more deeper in the topic. So for those that are interested in joining Moments with Inonge's leadership table, please do drop me a message. You can actually inbox me, or you can actually go to the page and you find a WhatsApp button and send me a WhatsApp letting me know what it is that you really want to do. If you want to book me to speak at your event, if you want to have a one-on-one coaching session, if you just want to have that free coaching session, please do feel free. So in the interest of time, we've come to the end of our motivational segment. I just want to say thank you. Thank you to everyone that's currently watching. Thank you to everyone that's online. Thank you for being part and parcel. Thank you for participating. Thank you for dropping your comments. Thank you for liking and sharing. Thank you for making Inonge what it is, because without your presence, Moments with Inonge would be dead. So thank you so much for your efforts. Thank you so much for just liking and sharing. Please ensure that you stay tuned for the leadership segment tomorrow, where we'll actually be building on what we have just started. So thank you so much. Love you guys. Have a blessed night.